Hi there and welcome to the first video in this 12-part series on writing English compositions. The main purpose of this series is to help you get a better understanding of the structure of an English composition, so you'll be able to write with more confidence. The course is aimed at students who do not speak English as a first language, but it could also be useful for native speakers. Because this is a flipped classroom, I expect you to watch the video a couple of times before class and have an understanding of the content, as well as having your composition ready to check during class. Okay, enough with the opening slide. Let's have a look at today's menu. Basically, this is what we are going to cover in this video. We'll have a quick look at the basic structure of a composition, then see that structure in an actual composition. After this, I'll explain the composition I'll be asking you to write this week and briefly look at what we'll do in class. So let's get into it. There are many different kinds of compositions. Each of the types of compositions you can see here have different purposes and different audiences, but they all follow the same basic structure: introduction, body, conclusion. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Whatever kind of composition you write, you want to make sure you include these three parts if you want to make what you wrote easy to comprehend for whoever is reading it. Try to look at the composition like a hamburger, with the introduction being the top bun, the body being the meat and salad inside, and the conclusion being the bottom bun. If you are missing either or both of those buns, your hamburger is going to fall apart and be very difficult to follow. On the other hand, if you don't have any delicious meat or salad inside your burger, it is going to be very tasteless and dull. Nobody will want to eat it, and nobody will want to read your composition either. During this course, we'll have a closer look at how to write the introduction, body, and conclusion, but for now, I'd like you to remember the importance of including each of them in your compositions. One more thing I'd like you to remember this week, and when writing your compositions, is thinking about who is going to read what you write. Of course, your teacher and some of your classmates are going to read your compositions. But I would like you to go beyond that. To make each task more authentic, think carefully about your audience. This will help you when it comes to choosing the kind of language you are going to use in your composition and the ideas you will present. These 2 points, the basic structure and thinking about your audience, will come up quite often throughout this course, so make sure you remember them. Let's now have a look at an example of a composition that shows this week's structure clearly. One really good way of improving your English ability is to observe and notice how others use the language. In this course, I'll show you some compositions and how they relate to the main focus of that week's lesson. Here is this week's composition. It is a recipe, and first we can clearly see the introduction, body, and conclusion. Let's have a closer look. The introduction does what it suggests. It introduces the topic. In this introduction, we see that the composition is going to be about drinks, and it is going to be about smoothies. We also clearly see at the end that we are going to be learning about how to make a smoothie. Although the audience isn't especially clear in this composition, we can understand that it is quite casual and probably aimed at readers who are concerned about their health. I also like in this composition how the writer has used you a lot. This helps create a closer link and relationship with the reader, something that is important in a casual composition like this. Overall, this is a very simple yet effective introduction for this composition. Next is the body, the tastiest part of our composition. This is where we see a lot of the important information, examples, and details. In this composition, we see the ingredients and method of making a smoothie. Without these two vital parts, our recipe has no meaning. And finally, we have the conclusion, the bottom piece of bread in our hamburger. Without this piece of bread, we have to hold the contents together with our hands, and that could get a bit messy. The same is for the composition. Sometimes we see compositions without conclusions, but they don't seem complete. In this week's composition, the writer has finished off the recipe by giving a few suggestions of fruit to use in a smoothie other than a banana. Each week in this course, I will ask you to write your own composition. This will be explained in the section called Your Turn. This week, this is the topic. I want you to imagine that you have been asked by a university in the United States to write a recipe for a healthy Japanese breakfast. It will be published in its newspaper. When you write your recipe, I want you to think carefully about the structure of introduction, body, and conclusion, as we discussed in this video. Also, think carefully about your audience, who they are, and where they are. You don't want to be writing up a recipe that is too difficult, as readers will be hesitant to try it out. Also, you need to think about the ingredients and whether students will easily be able to purchase them. You are welcome to add pictures if you like. Make sure you have this composition ready and written for class. During class, you will be expected to show your composition to others and get their advice. Well, that is about it for today. In class, we are going to cover these main points. We'll start off with a vocabulary test for Units 4.1 through to 5.2. We'll quickly review the main points of today's video and have a go at the 1-minute speech. As a way to prepare for this, think about the kinds of food you eat at Japanese festivals. After that, we'll use our textbooks to do the Dictogloss for Unit 4.1, which is about cotton candy. You could do a little research about cotton candy on the internet to help you prepare for that Dictogloss. Finally, we will do some work in pairs or groups, looking at each other's compositions and giving some advice. Make sure you are properly prepared for class, and I'll see you there.